Imagine giving birth 50,000 years ago. No hospitals, no doctors, no medicine, no clean water, just a small camp, surrounded by forests, predators, and an unpredictable world. Every cry your baby made could attract danger. Every cold night could become their last. Today, parents worry about school, food, and the future. Ancient mothers worried about something much simpler. Would their baby survive tomorrow? It's easy to imagine prehistoric life as cold, brutal, and emotionless. Many people picture ancient humans as creatures focused only on survival. But archaeology tells a different story. Again and again, scientists have discovered evidence that injured children were cared for, babies were protected, and families often stayed together for years. So here's the question. Did ancient mothers love their children the same way modern mothers do? Or was motherhood simply another survival instinct? The answer may completely change how you see human history, because the story of motherhood may be the story of how humanity itself survived. To understand ancient motherhood, we first need to understand something unusual about human babies. Compared to almost every other mammal, human babies are incredibly helpless. A newborn deer can stand within hours. A young horse can run on its very first day. But a human baby can't walk, can't feed itself, can't even hold up its own head. For years, it depends almost entirely on adults. That created one of the greatest challenges in human evolution. A mother had to carry her baby while gathering food, finding clean water, escaping predators, and surviving harsh weather. Every single day was a fight to keep both herself and her child alive. Scientists believe this long period of dependence changed our species forever. Unlike many animals, human children needed years of protection. That meant mothers couldn't do everything alone. Fathers, grandparents, older siblings, and even unrelated members of the tribe often helped care for children. Anthropologists call this cooperative breeding. It may have been one of the biggest reasons humans became so successful. But even with help, one person spent more time with the baby than anyone else. The mother. Every touch, every feeding, every sleepless night strengthened a bond that had been shaped by millions of years of evolution. And that raises an even bigger question. Was that bond simply biology? Or did ancient mothers feel something we would recognize today as love? For a long time, scientists believed emotions leave no trace. After all, bones can't tell us how someone felt. Or can they? Archaeologists have uncovered something remarkable. Some prehistoric infants were buried with incredible care. Tiny bodies were placed gently into graves, sometimes with beads, shells, red ochre, or carefully chosen objects. These weren't random burials. They took time, effort, and intention. The babies would never use those gifts. The living placed them there. Why? Because loss mattered, grief mattered, and perhaps love mattered too. There is even stronger evidence. Some ancient children were born with severe disabilities. Others suffered serious injuries, yet many survived for years. That could only happen if someone fed them, protected them, carried them, and refused to abandon them. That kind of care wasn't a one-time act. It required patience, sacrifice, and countless days of effort. Modern hunter-gatherer societies offer another clue. Across many cultures, mothers hold their babies almost constantly. They respond quickly to crying, sleep beside them, and comfort them through touch. While these societies are not identical to prehistoric humans, they show how close physical contact can support survival. Taken together, archaeology, anthropology, and human biology all point in the same direction. Ancient mothers weren't simply keeping babies alive. They were forming deep bonds that may have shaped the future of our entire species. But if that bond was so powerful, where did it actually come from? The answer may be hidden inside the human brain. The answer may begin inside the brain. The moment a baby is born, something extraordinary happens. The mother's brain releases powerful chemicals. One of the most important is oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It helps a mother recognize her baby, respond to its cries, and feel a powerful desire to protect it. This isn't unique to modern humans. It's found across many mammals, which means its origins stretch back millions of years. Another chemical, dopamine, rewards caregiving. Every smile, every laugh, every successful feeding activates the brain's reward system, helping strengthen the bond between mother and child. But biology alone doesn't explain everything. Ancient mothers made sacrifices that went far beyond instinct. Imagine carrying your child for miles, across scorching plains or through freezing winters, giving your baby the last piece of food, even when you were starving yourself, staying awake through dangerous nights, listening for predators, while your child slept safely beside you. Those choices came with enormous costs, yet generation after generation, human mothers kept making them. Because children weren't just the future of one family, they were the future of the entire tribe. Without mothers willing to protect, teach, and nurture, human civilization would never have begun. But motherhood wasn't only about survival. It also came with something much more difficult: the fear of losing a child. For most of human history, childhood was incredibly dangerous. Long before vaccines, antibiotics, or modern hospitals, a simple infection could become deadly. A harsh winter could take lives. A failed hunt could mean days without enough food. Many children never reached adulthood. For ancient mothers, this wasn't a rare tragedy. It was a constant possibility. Imagine putting your baby to sleep, not knowing if they would wake up the next morning. Every cough, every fever, every injury could fill a parent with fear. Archaeologists have discovered tiny graves built with the same care as those of adults. Small bodies, carefully buried, sometimes with beads, sometimes with flowers or red ochre. These discoveries don't tell us exactly what prehistoric people believed, but they do show something remarkable. Even the youngest children were remembered. Their lives mattered. Their deaths mattered. Grief is one of the strongest signs that deep emotional bonds existed, because grief doesn't come from survival alone. It comes from losing someone who meant everything to you. Perhaps the tears of an ancient mother were not so different from the tears of a mother today. But if motherhood brought heartbreak, why did humans continue investing so much in every single child? The answer may explain why our species conquered the world. When people think about human evolution, they usually imagine stone tools, fire, or bigger brains. But perhaps the greatest force behind our success was something much quieter: a mother's love, not because it made life easier, but because it gave children the time they needed to grow, to learn, to speak, to imagine, to become human. Every lesson, every comforting embrace, every sacrifice was an investment in the future. Generation after generation, those children grew up, started families of their own, and passed that same care to the next generation. Over thousands of years, that simple act changed the course of history. The compassion of one mother became the survival of a tribe. The survival of tribes became civilizations, and civilizations became the modern world. Today, a mother still stays awake when her child is sick, still worries when they're in danger, still celebrates their first steps, their first words, their first successes. Those feelings aren't new. They've echoed through humanity for tens of thousands of years. So, did ancient human mothers love their children like we do? We can never know exactly what they felt. But archaeology, biology, and the story of our own evolution all point toward the same remarkable possibility. Long before history was written, Long before cities existed, a mother held her child close, not just because she had to, but because that bond helped shape the future of humanity itself.